YouTube, what is good? Welcome back to another video on the channel, boys. Today we are going to be going over the best AP setup that there is in the game. This again is going to be one of the last times, if not the last time, I upload this type of video, man. So we've been dropping this type of video throughout the year, and if you guys want to see more content like this, especially going into Madden 26, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe as we're on the road to 4,000 subscribers, my boys. And with that being said, let's get into what I think are the best ability setups using your AP and what you guys should be looking for, basically in every position group, how you guys can essentially win more games with this. So first things first, let's talk about O-line, right? So at a minimum, at least at this stage in the game, I think you guys should be targeting O-linemen that have secure protector. Secure protector is basically just pass protector and run protector into one ability, especially if you can get this for 0 AP. It's really good, right? Really good, really powerful, great for any type of play style, right? You're also going to want post up and all day. Post up and all day is basically the counter, or at least the way to counter things like Unstoppable Force, Colossus. It's not guaranteed, but it definitely will help a ton. I've noticed a very big difference in the blocking my O-line ever since I went out and got players that not only have all day, but they also have post up. Now, you don't have to have post up on every single player. I just have it on all mine because they basically get it for free. They basically get it for 0 AP. So I put it on all my players. But essentially, this is going to help. Whenever you do double teams, it's going to help that sort of like secondary pass rush. Or not secondary pass rush, the primary pass rush when engaged with a double team all day is going to help against those secondary and pass rush moves after that. So I do think you should have that on all your O-linemen. You definitely should also have an omniscient on at least one of your O-linemen. I hear people say this all the time. The way you pronounce it is omniscient. I hear people say it all different types of ways. It's omniscient, bro. It's omniscient. Again, this is going to highlight whoever your opponent is going to be usering. And then you also see third and fourth down blitzers. Now, I don't really agree with the third and fourth down blitzers because it does kind of take away the skill of like knowing who's going to be blitzing under certain scenarios and everything like that. But that's besides the point. Another one that you guys could potentially look at getting is natural talent. This is more of like a want rather than a need. I do think you're going to at least need secure protector, post up, and all day on all your linemen. You're going to need at least one omniscient. Just have one on your O-line. And then, if you can get natural talent, you can also get other 0 AP things if you want to put it on there. Again, I could put like lifeguard or puller elite, but don't really need it, necessarily. Those are just like, non-necessities, things you don't necessarily need, right? So again, I pretty much have that on all my O-linemen at a minimum. I also have a linchpin on one of my O-linemen as well. I'm just kind of like honestly experimenting with it, see if it does anything in specific. It just says stronger blocking from all offensive linemen. I'll take it. You feel what I'm saying? So at a minimum, I think you guys should have those abilities, and then you can kind of just mess around with some of the other ones when it comes to O-line. Now, when it comes to receivers, we'll kind of talk about it. I'll talk about tight ends specifically, and then we'll talk about receivers as well. I think this Jason Witten card is still the best tight end in the game, me personally, just from the standpoint because he does get honorary lineman. If you do like to run the ball, he's going to put his head into some people's skulls and block absolutely amazingly. He also gets pass protector. So, if you guys are blocking those overload blitzes, he's going to block a lot better. Gets max security, short end elite, tank, human joystick, and mid end elite. Now, what I do think you guys need on all your receivers at a minimum is going to be tank. I think you should have tank on basically all your skill position players, tight end, running back, wide receiver. You should have tank on so that you do not get hit stick. You break tackles. You kind of can get some fluky plays in here and there. I think that is a necessity. Another necessity that I do think you guys should have on your receivers is going to be mid end elite. Or if you have mid elite, you also could do that as well, depending on whatever, AP, your receivers get. I do think that is a necessity as well. Helps counter those knockouts, especially, again, just like how mid zone covers a lot of the field, mid in or mid out or mid elite also covers a decent amount of the field to where this ability is going to be very good. Same thing with short end elite. Short end elite is also going to help counter those KOs with like drags and slants, depending on where you kind of throw that. Now, That is what I would say on all your receivers at a minimum. More specifically, talking about some of the receiver abilities, I do think double me is a necessity now. I think, especially now when we have all these bottlenecks, double me is the bottleneck killer. It is the bottleneck killer. Somebody cannot just sit in man coverage, close their eyes, and think they're playing good defense if you have double me on all your receivers. Every single one of my receivers that plays has double me. And what double me does is going to have those instant press man wins, and you're going to basically be able to take the top off of any defense, especially if there's no safety help. They're just playing cover zero man, crashing out, sending everybody. Hey, watch them beat them people off the line and see how long he stays in that press man. I'm just going to let you know, you feel what I'm saying? Another great ability is going to be route tech. Now, Calvin gets it for 2 AP. I'm sure there's other receivers that have route tech for cheaper now, but I mean, you can't be 6'5" as well. You feel what I'm saying, with 99 speed. So that's kind of why I have that. And again, I think you should have at minimum have tank on your receivers. Double me is a necessity. And then if you can also get route tech, that's also something as well. They will, have better breaks on their routes, especially against man. So combining double me and route tech, basically an unstoppable, sort of thing, unstoppable sort of setup. Running back specifically, again, you should just at minimum have tank. Human joystick is something I also like to have as well. And as well, spin cycle. Spin cycle will help you get those like glitchy spins. You can also put on jukebox if you want, depending on what you want to do. It just really depends on that. I think at a minimum, tank and human joystick is really all you need. And if you want to do angry runs, you want to do freight train, things like that, go for it. Be my guest. That is what I would say. And pretty much when it comes to quarterback, nothing has really changed with this. You basically just need to have some form of master tack or backyard quarterback and conductor at a minimum. That will basically just give you master tack. What master tack is high route master, playmaker, and conductor. Backyard quarterback is high route master and playmaker, and then conductor's conductor. So hopefully that makes sense is what I'm saying. I also have tank on this card. Again, not a necessity on your quarterback, but I do think you should have it on there so you don't fumble as much. Gunslinger is a necessity, and I do think gift wrapped as well. I have pocket deadeye. Pocket deadeye is something good as well. But again, totally up to you when it comes to your quarterback. I think at a minimum, what you should have is gift wrap, conductor, gunslinger, and backyard quarterback, or instead of backyard quarterback and conductor, just put on master tack. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully what I'm explaining makes sense to you guys. Now the next thing we're going to be talking about is defense here. So defense, the name of the game on defense is knockouts. You guys should just be having knockouts everywhere on the field. But let's talk about specifically like your secondary level players. Your second level players, that's going to be your linebackers, potentially your safeties if you sub them into the box. What I think you guys should have on at a minimum, you're going to want to have avalanche, you're going to want secure tackler, you're going to want mid zone, and you're going to want lurk artist. Anything else other than that is going to be a luxury. You don't necessarily have to, do that. Like, you don't have to have anything else on him. If you have all those things on, that's great. You could put on Enforcer Supreme if you want. You can put on some of those other things, but again, at a minimum, I do think you should have that. Both of my linebackers that play have those abilities. Same with this Pat McAfee. We pretty much get all of those things. He doesn't have mid zone. I don't really put him in. He's a blooper. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I don't have it on him. But lo and behold, that's what you guys should be doing. Let's go ahead and talk about D-line, because I do think D-line is probably the most important part of your defense, I'd argue. At a minimum, you know what I'm saying, you guys should have players with Colossus. Colossus is going to game wreck your opponent. It is going to just go crazy. Trust me when I say that. Especially if your opponent doesn't have abilities on his O-line, watch Colossus go crazy. You feel what I'm saying? Inside stuff, no outsiders is also very good as well, especially with how good the run game is. And then you also can put on double or nothing. Double or nothing is going to help pass rush. They're going to get pass rush quicker. Basically, I've seen them get more dominant wins with this. I really like this ability. You also could put on things like pick artists or lurkers so that they can get those D-line picks, those fluky D-line picks. That is also something that I would recommend putting on. Now, if you can't get Colossus, you know what I'm saying, you can't afford some of the Colossus players, definitely target players that get unstoppable force. For example, this Jason Taylor gets unstoppable force for 2 AP, and there's cheaper ones. There's cards that have unstoppable force baked on. Again, it's completely up to you, whatever AP you guys need, but at the minimum, make sure you get an unstoppable force as well on your D-line. Get as many Colossus or unstoppable force as you can get on your D-line, and you also get double or nothing. That's going to help it even more with the pass rush there. Lastly, we're going to talk about DBs. And the easiest way that I can explain it is, again, put as many knockouts as you can. I'm going to use Patrick Peterson as an example. Universal coverage basically gets you every knockout in the game, whether that's man or zone. If you guys run zone, get more zone knockouts on the field. If you run man, get more man knockouts on the field. That is what you guys should be targeting. And if you can, get universal coverage so that you can get as many of those knockouts as you want. Again, another thing that we've always talked about, pick artists. Definitely make sure you guys put that on as well. You're also going to want secure tackler. I have tackle supreme. That's all Patrick Peterson gets. I don't think he gets secure tackler at all. And then again, if you run man, put on bottleneck. Bottleneck is going to help you get those dominant press man wins. Again, it's just dependent on what you guys want to do with that. That is the easiest way that I can explain it. And again, just do it based on what your players do, right? So if your safeties, obviously your safeties are going to be mainly in deep blues. So things on your safeties that are probably going to be best is going to be mid zone and deep zone. You're not really going to want flat zone unless you do happen to put your safeties in flat zone assignments. The same thing goes for slot players. If your players normally play the slot, you're probably only going to need mid zone and flat zone. You're probably not going to need deep zone KOs. You feel what I'm saying? So it just depends on the type of scheme that you're running, what you guys do. It's going to depend all on that. But that is basically going to wrap up with everything that I explained on what you guys should be targeting for your abilities, best use of AP, and all those things. Hopefully that makes sense, everything I explained, and hopefully you guys find this to be helpful. If you guys did, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video, boys. Catch y'all. Peace.